Welcome back, everybody, to episode 11 of Two Tamers Talk. As always, joined by my main compadre, Jeff.
Hey, guys.
We're doing it. We're doing it again. We're here after locals. Our first EX-03 non-store champs locals.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
It was a blast. I mean, how could you not have fun with all of these new cards, all of these great decks that you're seeing people play and build? It just really gets those creative juices flowing. This is such a refreshing set for me, you know, like obviously with each set that comes out, right, you get all sorts of new pieces, new fun things to try, but it kind of felt like, you know, like very stark difference between BT10 and EX3.
Huge.
Where BT10, it was like, okay, you're going to play Crossheart, Blue Flare, you know, or, you know, Bloom Lord, right? And like, you're going to play stuff out of those boxes. Where the EX3 is, not only are there great decks out of EX3, it's a lot of old stuff that all of a sudden got revamped. Like, I'm loving to seeing all this red purple, not only with just the Imperial, right, but also with all the Galamon builds and possibilities, right?
Yes.
You can do Galamon and whatever your flavor is, whichever Galamon you like, or you can even go back to the old Megidramon like I usually like, right? So tons of creativity in this set, and I'm loving it.
That's my favorite part, too, is like when you show up to the first locals of a new format.
Yeah.
Because people aren't playing like high stakes decks, right? It's not a store champs. So people are literally playing what they're most interested in.
Yeah.
And so you start seeing people playing the Dragon Links, and you start seeing people playing just like Examon was huge tonight, which I didn't think that people were going to be so invested in the decks that were so compartmentalized in EX3. Yeah. I thought that people were going to be like, I'll grab a few cards here. And I think even Thomas, our store owner, was shocked by how many people wanted these cards, like these EX3 cards. Like we got a little bit less of an allocation just because we didn't think that like the EX sets, only like 74, 76 cards, whatever it is. They usually don't change a format, or people don't play like the crazy, like I want to play Justice, but it's like people are playing Links, people are playing 4 Great Dragons, people are playing the Examon stuff, and it's like all stuff that just comes out of these sets because it's just like generally interesting, fun ways to play. So it was really cool to see people just play what they wanted to play and have fun. And the thing is they're all intimidating decks in their own way.
They are
stuff that you did not see in the Japan meta.
Come
out of nowhere. I played obviously the new Chaos Dramon stuff, which I love, and I've been testing nonstop. We got a video coming on the channel. Make sure you check it out. And then you played
Aegis Dramon,
another EX3.
I did. I was just so excited because for me, like I love a playstyle that just plays out bodies in unique ways. And like I was a big fan of Whales, you know, in BT7 when we got all the Wamon stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and even going back to BT1, right? The Metal Garurumon from BT1, where it would attack and you would spawn out the Garurumon to unsuspend to then attack and spawn out like usually your Gabumon, right? So it would be 2 bodies that way. Like I loved that kind of play style. So Aegis Dramon was just so much fun. I went extremely wide, you know, and it was just ridiculous, and I was all for it.
Yeah. No, it was good times. Neither of us won, obviously.
Yeah.
Big winner tonight, though, was Dragon Links.
Dragon Links won it all. It's awesome.
Came out of nowhere and just dominated.
Yeah, we weren't expecting this either. Like, you know, like we knew Dragon Links was a deck, obviously, right? Like it's a fun deck, but the amount of versatility that deck has. Yeah. Like, first of all, like as everyone knows, the Dragon Links, right? If you've looked at it on the surface level, they all have on plays.
Yep.
Very powerful on plays too. And being able to combo that with the Tamer just makes so much sense. And just the way you can build this and play this. And the winner tonight, what I love about his deck that he's playing is he's playing like a little bit more one-ofs. Like he's got a one-of Security Tech Greymon. He's got a one-of Growlmon. But the reason why is because he's got Dorbic.
Yep.
Dorbic can take full advantage of all of these different cards.
Just tuck them.
I mean, I never thought I was going to hear Dorbic for game.
Yeah.
But he did that to me in our testing.
Multiple times tonight.
And I was like, wow, Dorbic for game. I mean, we have a whole new adjective, like, or a whole new verb, like, verb. Yeah. And it's just like, I was all for it. It was great.
And the best part is, too, is when is the last time you saw a deck top with a Gaia Force?
I'm all for it. I love it.
It's our favorite removal card, right?
It's such a great card.
No, this deck was great, and this player in particular, like he's topped before. He's won multiple times.
He's a great player, absolutely.
And he built Jessamine. Like his decks are always super consistent and terrifying. Like he has a great knack for building these decks.
Yeah,
so good. So suffice it to say, we did not win with the decks that we played. I had some good matchups. I played against 4 Great Dragons. I played against D Brigade tonight. Very, very fun night. A lot of cool matchups and a lot of learning all the way around. Like I think a lot of people like you pick the deck you wanted to play and then the deck that you didn't spend a lot of time researching. Like I don't know how many times I saw Examon picked up off the mat tonight.
Oh, Examon's terrifying. It's like
everyone's like, "Are you sure that's what that card does?"
Like, it can make me attack. Like it's a blocker. It trashes my security. It does everything. Yeah, Examon's insane. Very, very good. We have a great Examon list. We just finished filming that, so that will be headed your guys' way soon too.
We have all the EX-03 decks. They're gonna come. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. So we're talking about good decks. We did have a reveal this morning of the newest Ultimate Cup winner, and so like we talk about all the time is. We're going to talk about these. We wish that we were as good as these players.
Yeah.
But man, because we did not see this deck coming. When I saw Ultimate Cup, I was like, because this Ultimate Cup is post restrictions, but EX-03 was not allowed. It was not ready because this is Latin America or Europe. I guess
I think it was Europe. But
we'll just check it on out. So it's Europe. Yes. So Raid and Trade is the people that put it together.
Yeah.
So we can check it out here. So, yeah, here it is. So it's a Venusmon deck. So Venusmon hybrids, I guess, is kind of what you want to see. I'll turn that so old Jeff can see it over there.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. So, yeah, there's a lot to look at here, right? A lot of stuff to analyze. I remember, like, so normally I scroll through these decks, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a cross deck, or that's a Melga deck, or whatever. But, like, this one popped up on my phone, like, first thing when I woke up this morning, and I was like, what?
It's all over the place.
There's
so many different things going on with this. I mean, you have like a fun combination of everything. You have the hybrid package, right? Taking full advantage of being able to heal while having tons of great kill spells.
Look at all those tamers.
I mean, 4 TKs in this deck. Like that's crazy to me. Like you almost feel like, okay, he's playing one of the blue Quadramons. Like he couldn't really play a second Quadramon versus and having 3 TKs, but obviously I didn't win the Ultimate Cup. He knows this list. He's been testing it.
I mean, you would think that like the way that TK is just redundant in its memory game, like you would play 2 of that and 4 of the Dual Tamer next to it, right? Just so you.
Yeah.
But like you said, we don't win Ultimate Cups. This is not a list I would have ever put together in my wildest dreams. This looks like a deck that goes to time to me.
It does.
This is like a deck that just slows the entire game down with the Shack and the Venusmon.
Yeah, you have this yellow hybrid combination. I mean, that Venusmon. I mean, how many times have we seen Venusmon in action where people have to like read the card 3 times, and go to time going against Venusmon or whatever, But the Shack makes so much sense. The Rapidmon is crazy cool too. Like there's just so many interesting pieces that were put into this deck.
Well, and it's a good format to play this because like with a lot of decks that you're seeing right now.
Yeah.
And the reason that they're doing so well in the format, a lot of decks, is the fact that there's not a lot of like single target kill spells that people are running, like Iron Fisted Onslaught or Gaia Force and stuff like that. So it's like that Susanomon, when that comes out, I don't think anyone has answers for it right now.
It's
other
hard.
than a D-Digivolve, maybe with Alphamon or stuff like that. But it's like that is a rough thing to deal with. Swinging for 3 checks for 15
That's
and
what
they
I
deleted
love about
a body.
Right? Yeah, like I'm a huge Susanoo fan. Like I've played Susanoo a lot, and I love the 3 checks on that card. That is so aggressive.
And it's like a BT1 Omni. It takes something out as soon as it digivolves, and it can go on a white level 6 if you want to. Like
it can go on any of these, level 6s that he runs in the deck.
The biggest thing that surprised me is that card that I can't pronounce and have never tried to. The 8 cost yellow option.
Yeah.
It benefits from you being at 3 security.
It's got this cool like dual purpose kind of where when you're above 3 it does something and below 3 it does something.
When you're at 3 it does both things.
Yeah, and it does both when you're at 3. So a lot of strength in that, I think. I think being able to have that versatility is very important, you know?
Yeah, really interesting deck. I mean, grats to this player. But man, this is not something that I would ever play.
Yeah. No,
this looks like something that this is the kind of deck when I see this, it's like you can't just put this together and win.
No.
I think that this is a deck that you literally play differently against every opponent that you play.
Well, that's why there's so many different pieces, right? There's so many different options for him to use different situations where it matters or whatever. So
also, I mean, like, look at the Sunrise Buster. Like, your conditions for using that are slim to none.
Yeah, it's just that,
that 3 dual cost tamer that you hope you find.
Yep. Yep.
Like, I mean, obviously you get to pull stuff out with the TK of your security. I mean,
and playing all of these tamers, right? You know, your opponent's going to have Death X to take advantage of, but he's only got one Wyvern's Breath to remove a Death X, right? So with a game being extended for the length it is, like, how is he dealing with that? You know, it's almost some combination of the Rapid Mon doing some minus DP there, combination of the Yellow Tamers, the TK and Kari.
Well, that's my favorite
thing. And then
thing.
using that 8 cost option to do the remaining 12k. I mean, tons of ways to handle boards, but you know, like that one Wyvern's Breath is what surprises me. Like, that's not a more of, you know.
There is a cool tech there that you're missing, though.
Okay.
It's the and I've looked at this too, and it's a really fun way to kind of abuse the Death X.
Yeah.
You play that Solomon at the end of your turn.
Oh, so that way when it gets deleted, you heal.
Yes. Yeah.
That
It's a fun way to be like, okay, cool. I'm glad you have Death X on the board. Yeah. Which is very few and far between, right? It's just not like that's something you can do all the time, but it feels good, right?
Or if you Digivolve like one of your level 3s into Rapid Mon, it's got Armor Purge.
Yeah, so you scrape it. Yeah, not terrible. But I mean, he does have removal for Death X with the Susano.
That
is another removal.
Yep.
So,
and you can Digivolve on one of his Tamers with all the Tamers that probably end up in trash or hybrids in trash or whatever in hand. So
it just seems like it's just a tempo deck all day long. I mean, you're just abusing your opponent. I mean, it's just weird with the one-ofs, man. You got that Cordramon that I guess can Digivolve into the Shack, so that makes sense. But
yeah. Well, I mean, could you imagine if this deck could play 4 of the Jet Sylphies?
No.
Like, that deck list would be different for sure.
Or 4 reinforcing boosts. Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh,
yeah. No. It plays all the restricted cards it can.
Yep.
But at the same time, I mean, this looks terrifying. It plays 3 restricted cards. All 3 yellow restricted cards. So, to their extent, for a reason, there's definitely synergy in this deck for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So, very, very cool. Terrifying, but very, very cool. This is one of those decks that is, it's a great deck, but at the same time, it's not one of those decks that you think that like people are going to see it and be like, oh, I'm going to build that and win at locals. It's like, no, that takes a lot of work.
A lot of practice. Yeah. There's like, you know, that deck builder went through and has a reason for every card in that deck. Reason why he's got a 1 of Cordramon. Reason why he's only got 1 Wyvern's Breath.
Done a lot of testing.
A lot of testing to figure out what he does and doesn't need.
And I think that this deck too is a lot of what this player is seeing in the meta.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, this is a completely different side of the world, right? This is Europe. So this might not do well over here based on what people are playing.
Well, it's going to be crazy to see the difference that deck becomes using EX-03 cards.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if necessarily there's any cards that go in that deck, but what your opponent plays and then how you change your cards when you go against a really wide D Brigade.
I agree. Right? I agree. Like, I don't know. Does this win against D Brigade? I mean, Venusmon doesn't really do anything against Commander Mons with no security plus or minus, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a great deck. I was very surprised to see it.
Me too.
And it was really interesting looking at, because when they post this, they post 1 through 8, and I'm pretty sure 1 through 8, I think there was 2 Melga decks, and then everything else was a different deck.
I think it just makes a lot of sense for Melga, right? Because Melga, if you let them get carried away with how many swings that they can do in one turn, I mean, like, it is, you know.
But my question is the fact that 7 of the 8 top decks were different.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's a sign that these restrictions are doing the game right?
I mean, that's a great question.
It's a great sign to me.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% with what you're saying, right? Because that's the last thing you want to see. The last thing you want to see is when the top 8 are posted and 5 of 8 decks are all the same with just a couple different decks.
Which we've seen.
You know, just a number of how many Death X's is one playing, right? We have seen that before.
Blue hybrids. We saw it with blue hybrids. We saw it with yellow hybrids. We've seen it with, I know Cross in Japan was that way. Like, we saw a lot of that stuff. So it's nice to see.
I think it's a healthy state of the game for sure.
100%. So if anyone's wondering why they're doing these restrictions, it's because, I mean, look at the results.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, well done on that. I think that might be the last Ultimate Cup for the year. There might be one in Latin America, if I'm not sure. So, but if there are results, we're going to be sure to share them with you guys. For sure. So, let's get into our topic.
Yes,
because we keep seeing these reveals for new sets, and we keep seeing a lot of the same stuff over and over, at least as far as support, right? Like we keep seeing more Shoutmon support. We see
more Wargrey stuff.
Wargrey every set. Agumons.
Yeah.
How many Agumons do we need? You know, it seems like there's stuff for certain sets. Seems like there's definitely favoritism, and I think that that's just the brand, right? But
yeah, they're capitalizing on the brand, right? You know, like we don't have Pikachu, we got Agumon, we got Omnimon, so they have to.
But at the same time, it's like a lot of people had really favorite cards from earlier sets, you know, like Leopardmons and Gintorosmons and a lot of stuff. And it seems like they're trying to do right in some aspects, but they're also like, they're either adding new Digimon that we haven't seen before, like the Bagra and like crazy stuff like that. Like stuff that is pretty obscure to certain IP, like corners of the IP, I want to say, for Digimon, if it were. I mean, I'm not an expert on the IP, but there's stuff coming out that even you don't know about. And I'm like, if you don't know about it, then that's like 70% of Digimon fans don't know about it. So if they're picking corners, but there's also a lot of stuff where you're like, can we get support for certain things that we've seen before? Like we've talked about it before where it's like, I'm a huge Diaboromon fan because I'm a fringe player in the fact that I like the way the game plays, but I like the alternative play styles. I like the token decks. I like the Machine Dramon decks. I like the, I don't want to say Eosmon, but you know, I like the way
you like the unique style of play.
Yes, I like the fact that you can play this game multiple different ways. It's not like Magic where it's just like, I mean, you get mana and you use the mana, you do that stuff. You know what I mean? Like this is like, there are totally different ways to play this where it's like D-Reaper. When that came out, I'm like, this deck is crazy.
D-Reaper was a unique play style. The Hybrids was a unique play style. The Crossheart was a unique play style.
Even Dragon Link's unique play style. Like it's not just Zoo. There's so many different ways. And it's like, I feel like they're trying to kind of go rogue in the fact that like they don't necessarily like prop up older sets.
Yeah, it's more like, hey, this is the new set. You're gonna play most of this old stuff, and then you're gonna have hit up Jesse and Jeff for like one or two of random old cards that you need to make your deck stronger.
Well, that's kind of what we run into now. Is like, because we do have an evolve scene at our shop, but a lot of the players weren't there for BT 1 through almost 6 now, and I guess that set gets later and later.
And there's nothing wrong with that. We're not saying anything bad. We love the growth.
Yes,
you know.
But it's at some points, like people are like, "Oh, I need this BT 3 card."
Yeah,
you know, and it's like it's not a terrible thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Bandai's not keeping it very consistent because it's like, okay, we're getting like I'm not complaining about Machine Dramon. Like obviously we're getting another Machine Dramon every now and then. We get a 7-cost option for Beelstar. We're getting new Beezle. We get new Beezlemons every other set.
Yeah.
We're getting all that stuff, but there's a lot of stuff being kind of left in the dust. I mean, if you're talking about Diaboromon, like it's literally been a year since we've seen even a preview for another Diaboromon card.
Yep.
So we're talking about 18 months out at least before we see another Diaboromon card that hasn't even been announced yet.
Yeah.
That's if they decide to give us one.
Yeah.
And it's a huge archetype for the game, right? It's a player favorite. And it just surprises me that they haven't, especially in this X Antibody format, and that's a favorite X Antibody of the IP of, you know, people that like the show, and it's such a cool looking Digimon that they haven't capitalized on that. Like instead they gave us Death X, which is great. It's menacing, but Diaboromon X Antibody could have been a really cool dark card too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's weird looking back because we got the gift boxes this year again. And the old gift boxes that we got were literally last December, and that was the last time we had support in EX1 for Diaboromon. And so I know a lot of people, not a lot, but there's a select few at the shop that are just like, what can I play from this new set that's going to be good in Diaboromon? And too often the problem is nothing. There's nothing good in this set. Like they haven't given us, like, even if they gave us one more Arata Sonata, it would make the deck 10 times better.
Yeah, or if it was a Memory Setter Sonata.
Anything.
You know, kind of like what they're doing, the new Takato that was revealed in BT12, where now Gallimon, with all of its crazy new support, especially seeing it today with all the red-purple stuff, where there's going to be a Memory Setter Takato that is now searchable and playable with all of these cool Gallimon, Growlmon stuff. So very excited to see that. But for me, I got to talk about a favorite deck of mine that I just love. I've always kept it together. I think it's one of my only decks that I've double sleeved, actually.
Ooh.
Which, if you know me, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. But for me, it's that old promo, the Metal Garurumon in purple, the black Metal Garurumon.
Oh, the black one. I thought you were going purple.
No, it's purple card, but he is the black Metal Garurumon, right? Like, so this card, for those of you who don't know what to do, it's Digiburst 2, play an option that costs 7 or less. That's purple.
It's like old school Beelstar.
Yeah, it's like Beelstar. What Beelstar was doing before that thing was, and I know it was really popular back then, especially with Nailbone being introduced, and that's one of my favorite, right? It kind of goes that how I like that style of just creating a really wide board in unique ways. Yeah. And so for me, like, I really found a fun way to play that deck, like especially using the BT6 Skull Gray, where I would like tuck them underneath to have more sources to then Digiburst later. So I really liked that Metal Garurumon, and I'm looking desperately for a way to improve that deck. And I don't want the answer to be just put it in a Death X. Yeah. Because that's kind of where I'm stuck now. It's like, I don't want to put in a Death X, but that's where the format and the meta is. So, you know, it got me thinking when the new Metal Garurumon X Antibody came out, because I could Digivolve for one on top of that, give him blocker.
Yeah. The blue one.
Yeah, the blue one. And it's not a bad idea. And I was like, okay, so this is going to be the only Metal Garurumon X Antibody we're going to get. But then they gave Black a Black War Greymon X Antibody. Yeah. And now I'm like, give me a Black Metal Garurumon X Antibody and for purple.
Yeah.
That, you know, because I even love the BT2 Metal Garurumon. That was one of my favorite decks when the game first started, when I was playing with Japanese cards or proxies. Yeah. Is I was playing that purple Metal Garurumon that would swing and play out a level 3 from trash. And then you use, like, you know, either the War Garurumon or the Black War Growl back when, you know, set 3 or 4, I can't remember off the top of my head, came out when you could delete a body to then, you know, do it again and stuff. And so it's like, I want that again.
Yeah.
I want some support for that, like a better top end for that Black Metal Garurumon.
And it doesn't seem like it would be that far off either, because at least the Garurumon is like a fan favorite IP.
Yeah, it really shouldn't be. I mean, like, if we got a Black Metal or Black War Gray X Antibody, give me a Black Metal Garurumon X Antibody.
But it's like, if you're looking at it too, what about Lord Knight? Like, Lord Knight was a huge format. Like, it just blew the doors off of locals.
That's like when the competitive scene really started growing.
That's when the meta really, because you had you had Lord Knight, you had the green Nidhogg. You had Nidhogg. You had like every color had like a boss monster, right?
Yeah, out of
Lord Knight was the beast because it played level 5s for free, which you had never seen before.
You'd never seen anything like that. And then you could just go into another Lord Knight the next turn and just keep creating this really wide board of just menacing threats.
Play Lucimons and oh man, it was so much. It was a cool deck. I mean, don't get me wrong, everyone complained about it at the time, but you would think, like, every couple sets, just like they do Jessamon and everything else, even like it was surprising for me to see the Jessamon get support over and over and over again with more Sistermons, a starter deck, a level 7. Like, they kept giving it more and more stuff, and it's like, where's another Nightmon? Where's another, like, and then they gave us one and it's red-black.
It is red-black, right?
You're that like, helps me none.
I think they had to be careful. They probably know what cards and colors they have to avoid. Because if they gave another yellow Nightmon, I mean, would Lord Knight become broken? Because it could just play
I don't think so.
All of its 5s? I mean,
not in this
one. Okay.
There's so much strong stuff now. Like, I think they're at the point now where they could unrestrict the Argomon and be just fine. There's a lot of stuff where it's like, this meta is, I mean, this game has tripled, probably quadrupled in card size since then. I mean, that was, BT4, BT5 was Lord Nightmon.
Yeah.
And now we're on BT10 with 3 EX sets, so we're 13 sets in.
Yep.
Come on. Like, there's so many more options now. Decks. Like, give us, you can make Lord Nightmon again. You can make it strong again, and it'll be fine.
Absolutely.
Stuff like that. And Kentorosmon, like, a lot of Royal Knights just have gotten no love, where other ones have just gotten completely spoiled.
I also think that there's cards that haven't gotten love. You remember how strong the starter deck, the Giga Green Hercules Gabuterimon was?
Yeah.
With that, Digiburst 2 to suspend a body?
Yeah.
And like, they did give us the Hercules Gabuterimon X Antibody, but I think it's just a rare, and I don't think it really strengthens the deck enough to make a comeback. And like, for the insect guys, and for those that love green, and for those that are just big fans of the original Digidestin, right? That's Izzy's guy, right? Like, why not have a new Hercules Gabuterimon that can bring green into this forefront, right? Like, why did Grandis end up becoming so much bigger when Hercules Gabuterimon is much more popular? Or do we go like a different direction? And do we give like Hercules Gabuterimon to black because there's a black Izzy, right? Just for an example, right? Maybe start doing some of those other bodies in other colors or something. I feel like maybe I know there's so many Digimon out there. Like you go the Digimon Encyclopedia and there's just so many being added, so many being created. And then you have X antibodies for all of it. And it's just like there's so many directions they can go.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of why I'm glad that hopefully BT12 is the last of like the cross heart stuff and the last of the save mechanic and all that stuff. That way we can start moving on to other parts of the franchise.
Yeah, and by last, I mean, just give us like one. It's like Digizorb, right? Like every other set, we'll get like the Cherrymon and stuff like that. We'll get like 1 or 2 cards. It is what it is. I don't like them to totally kill effects.
Yeah.
I don't want them to just give up on effects like Digiburst. Like I think that...
bring that back. Digiburst was a cool mechanic.
Cool Digiburst stuff. Like that was a fun one. That one wasn't even like that hard to comprehend. Like
no, that one was a perfect. I mean, mechanic. I mean, like we were just talking about the Metal Garurumon.
Yeah.
And even the Black or Gray that could unsuspend made a lot of sense too. Just Digiburst 2 and do that. Hercules Gabuterimon, Digiburst 2 suspend something.
And I like those mechanics that aren't liabilities for new players as far as making it that hard. Like Cross was a tough one because that really was one where when you're trying to we try and bring new players into the shop all the time, right?
Yeah, we're always trying to teach people the game.
And it's not that easy anymore to be like, go online or go on your phone, download the app and play. Just learn the tutorial because then it's like they'll play in shop and someone's going to cross. They'll be like, that wasn't in the app. What do you mean? Like,
that whole shift, I mean, was crazy, especially when that was like the hybrids, right?
Yeah.
When that format... because before, like when I would teach people this game, I would just keep like a basic red deck with just like a little bit of like Evo, a little bit of security attack, a little bit of
kill spells,
just like the bare minimum about the game, and hand it to somebody, and I would play like a very basic, blue deck, right? But it would be like the same idea with no complex mechanics. So it's like going from that to trying to teach people who are new to the game or trying to get into it to all of a sudden, I'm going to, go into a cross 5 for free, swing for 2 checks, reboot block. And then it's like, or blue flare, stun your entire board. Or now you have to count for a Dorbikmon for game. Right. That has happened to me today. Right. Like, so there's all these cool mechanics and I'm really happy the game is growing, but it's like, what is going to happen like that? So
yeah, very, very interesting. So that's kind of where we're at. It's rough because every time there's a new set announced, we're like, is this going to be more Agumons, more Greymons? Like how many of these do we need? Like, and don't get me wrong, like the artwork keeps getting better and better.
No, of course.
So it's great, and
I love the War Grey X deck. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of that deck.
But let's diversify it a little bit. Let's bring back some of the old favorites.
Yeah,
because the old favorites bring back some of the old. Like, it brings back the feels and the nostalgia of the players at the shop that will want to play their favorite deck, right? So, talking about feels, we're done with all the BT12 reveals, right?
We are.
So now we're at the best part of the reveals.
We're going to see all the shiny cards.
We get to see all the shinies. So we're going to talk about these alt arts. We'll go through them pretty quick because there's been a decent amount, but some of them are kind of honorable mentions.
Yeah.
But the first one is that Beelzemon.
Oh my gosh. That might be the chase card of the set.
I don't know about that.
I mean, it's just like the way the artwork looks and the way Beelzemon fans are so loyal.
Well, that card is amazing. So
it's like being a Cleveland Browns fan. They're very loyal fans for something that maybe does not deliver all the time for them. So it's like being a Beelzemon X antibody, like with this beautiful alt art, is just insane. It looks.
That's the best part about these is because we get to see these base arts and then we have to interpret what the texture is going to be.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So whenever we see these, we're like, that looks good. And then when we see them in real life, I'll even like, as soon as these come out in Japan, I'm usually like going through like Facebook or like Reddit post to find like the actual, because I want to see what the texture looks like, because that's what matters to me. Just like this one, it's like that the Gallantmon, the new BT12 Gallantmon, that's going to have crazy texture, and it always does because he's always thrusting that trident or the joust or the lance. Yes, the lance, and it always has like really cool trailing effects. Like, that's going to be. I'm not saying that card's going to be better than the starter deck one.
And it's going to be tough because, now it's like Galamon players were divided of which Galamon to play, which is great. It's good to have that flexibility because Galamon players have it better than Wargrey players.
Yeah.
Like Wargrey, you have like 2 Wargreys that you consider between, and it's generally like, it's kind of more obvious. Yeah, not you. But then Galamon players, you're like, oh, do I play the starter deck one? Do I play the original BT2 one? Do I play,
EX2.
The EX2?
Yeah.
It's fun to watch that split. So,
yeah. But another fun toy for you guys to play with. That's great. And then there's the new Takato. So this is kind of the theme for the Tamers, it seems like, for the alt arts. It's that side profile with their rookie and their mega. Right.
Interesting choice that they made because like a side profile, it's like, should it have been a front view, because it is the alt art. I like the way they have the Digimon in the background.
Seems like they're all done by the same artist too.
Yep.
So
I think it's important that we can't write these alt arts off yet till we see what they look like in person
with texture.
With the texture, I feel like if you didn't know what the alt art Hino was going to look like without the texture or the alt art analog youth, it would be. And I know those don't compare because those are just great cards, but these ones are tough for sure.
And then moving in to that's the Emperor, right?
The Emperor Greymon looks so good.
That's going to be fantastic.
Yes,
I cannot wait to see what the texture on this one looks like. Yeah. This has got my name written all over it. Yeah. I love these. These are the cards that I stop on when I'm flipping through the binder at night.
And you're just like looking
and
at
I'm just
them.
like, man, that's a fantastic looking card. Yeah. I might not ever play this card, but man, they are nice to look at. These are just eye candy, beautiful in the binder. So good. These are the cards but we have like loyal Emperor players, like hybrids that love this stuff. And then of course there is the
Takato.
No,
Takuya.
No, that's not Takuya. That's Takuya. The other
one was Takato. Yes.
Once again, no rookie in this one, but you're looking at the Gunimon and what's that above him?
Oh, the Emperor Grey.
Is that Emperor Grey?
Yeah, in the background.
Behind him. So I mean, looking at the other Emperor Grey and then looking at this cartoon stuff. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, another one of those ones. I think that these are all going to be similar style. You're looking at the texture.
This card, I know we've already talked about it with the reveals of the Takuya, but this is just another good example of they're just giving us like something to make an older deck better. Like this is just like when I tried to play red hybrids, and like trying to having to fit in, and I tried to bring it back with like Hero and stuff to have a memory setter that would benefit the deck really well. This is just a perfect example of that, where they're making those older decks a little bit stronger, right, by giving us better pieces for this reason. So
I agree.
Big fan of that.
And then, oh man, the Shine Gray.
The Shine Gray looks so good, and I love that we can see a sword. Because I feel like it's the first time that you can get a good view of it.
Seems remotely similar to like the Crimson mode like thing that he has, where it's like round in the middle.
Oh yes, it is. Yeah.
But very, very cool art. I can't wait to see this one in action. Because it's like they put these down, and like we have very loyal red yellow players.
Yeah.
That are drooling over this card, and I can't wait to see them.
Yep.
Ask me for alt arts that I don't have. Because I try. I swear I try.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that we have all the cards because we make the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I have one for my binder, and that's all I have. I'm sorry. And then the infamous punch heard around the world, right?
Yeah. And,
I hope when they texture this, all the texture is around the fist, and they just like, ignore the rest of the card, because everyone is disappointed in this artwork so far for such an influential tamer. You know what I mean? Like if all the textures around that fist, then they're gonna win the day. But as it stands right now, didn't live up to the hype. Especially when we talk about the next card. Because the next card is going to be one that is going in my case, and I cannot wait for this card.
Yeah, this card.
I'm not going to play it because I'm probably not going to play Cross.
Yes.
But I think you can play this. We already talked about this. We can play this in probably a purple deck, maybe.
Yeah, there's a couple decks for sure that this could be. I'm kind of thinking. So when this set comes out, I will be probably trying to mess with that Digimon Hunters, kind of style deck with the Cross Hunters, where you kind of play the Gumdramon and the Arrestor Dramon and stuff. I think it's gonna fit in there. Again, I have no idea. I need to actually spend an hour reading every one of these cards with save and making sure that they apply with each other, right? But there's just, this artwork is incredible.
Man, when I see this reminds me of the Paladin mode winter card for Evo Cup.
Yeah,
that's the quality. It might even be the same artist, to be honest with you. Don't quote me on that, but this looks very, very similar to the Paladin mode. The detail, the artwork, the updated.
They just have so much room without having an Evo cost, huh?
Oh, it gives them an extra 5% of the card to just put some pretty wings on there. But beautiful, beautiful card. I think this card. Don't get me wrong. We haven't seen a reveal for the Chaos Demon X Antibody yet.
Yep.
So that's probably going to win the day for me. But usually you don't get the secret art.
Yeah.
Alt arts until the end, right?
Which means they're probably saving Bagra.
Yeah.
For the last one, which is a cool way to do it.
It's going to be dark.
It's going to be dark, yeah.
So another tamer.
Yep.
Another red tamer. This is the Shoutmon tamer.
Yep. Taiki.
Or
Mikey for Digimon Fusion, who watched it in English. I'm watching it right now. It's way better in sub. I'm actually enjoying it, I hate to say.
So once again, another
what
side
I like
profile.
About this though, maybe let me take that back. What's interesting about this is that's Shoutmon King version.
Right.
Behind him, not regular Shoutmon. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what the texture looks like on that. And then you got the Arrestormon.
I love this.
Of course you do. It's
It's a purple card. I love purple cards. I love shiny, fancy purple cards. So, I'm very excited to try that deck and try to get a playset of those and see how that deck works, because that's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And that's kind of where we leave off on the alt arts until next week when hopefully we get that Chaosdramon. And maybe we get the Bagra. So, speaking of that, and all other things, we have to get into our cards of the week.
Yes.
We can't just leave those out.
Cannot leave them out.
I think we both picked EX-03 cards this time.
We did. It's the debut of EX-03. We've been messing around with it a lot. We've been deck building a lot. And I think we have to. Okay.
So where are you at? You're no layups this time, right?
My problem with EX-03 is that there are so many cards. It's a good problem to have. Okay. There are so many cards that are influencing me right now that it's hard to settle on one. But I will, for the sake of you guys not having to hear me rant for an hour. Sorai. Blue 4-cost EX-03 option, Sorai. It's really interesting that we're getting all these powerful source removal and stun cards right now, to where Hexablau and Azulong could make a comeback. Or just the strength of this card in Blue Flare, which I do think will take a large meta share with the way the meta is shifting, with the cross-art restriction and everything else going on. So Sorai is a very powerful card. I love when I can trash your sources off Machine Dramon, because then now that's less pieces for you to save, right? And it's just, it's only a 4-cost for such a devastating effect. So very strong card. It's crazy. That's my card of the week. What about yours?
Well, my thing with that too is could you imagine if Sorai existed when Blue Hybrid was in its full power?
Oh my gosh. That would be one of those things that we might have to do. We might just have to mess around with a no restrictions game.
We could do that.
And just go Mega Digimon Fusion, Ice Walls, Tommies, Sorais, and just see what madness could occur.
I think we would both play Blue Hybrids, and just whoever gets the Susanoo first wins.
I don't know if Blue Hybrid's the strongest deck out of everything that's been restricted, but it is close. It is close.
With MDF? Oh, I don't know. That'd be a battle royale. All right, if we're going EX-03, we can go into this more. You can watch the new Machine Dramon video to go into why this is so good.
Yeah.
But we're definitely going to go the new Chaos Dramon, because the new EX-03 Chaos Dramon literally changes the entire way that you play the Machine Dramon deck.
Yeah.
Because it finally gives you a good companion for the Machine Dramon.
Yeah.
To the point where you almost want to run 4 and 3 the other way.
Interesting. Okay.
Almost.
Yeah. You're not quite there yet.
Not quite there. But it is so good because it gives you outs on bricking on the actual Machine Dramons. The way that the deck used to run, if you didn't pull a Machine Dramon, you lost, because the best you could do after that was hard play level 5 sideboard.
Yep.
Digivolve a Chaos Dramon on top of it, tuck one body, and delete 2 things and have no protection from anything, because the old Chaosdramon had 0 protection from anything.
That's just how I felt like when I would play against you. I would just try to bait you to Digivolve into Chaosdramon.
Yeah, and then kill it.
Or sometimes that was your only move anyways, and it's not like I purposely baited you into doing it, but it's just like that's the move that you made, and then I would just take advantage of that.
Yeah, or if you played against blue-green, you just lost to Megadeth, and you just ended up losing. Because, I mean, they would return it, but you're committing at least 7 every turn to rebuild it, and they're only paying 5 to get rid of it, so eventually they're just
they net 2 every time you do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but this one, oh man, you can't Megadeth it. You can't Gigadeath it. Like, there's 100 things you can't do to it. And on top of that, so it gives you an out, right? Because you can play that level 5. Sometimes in a good form, especially if it's like the Metal Greymon from BT7, play it for 5 because you have a Tamer out. And then Digivolve on top of it for 4, be able to tuck 3 bodies, and all of a sudden you essentially have a Machine Dramon out.
Yeah.
Because it has protection at least twice, and it has all those inheritables. It's so good. And it's black, so you're able to search it with Black Memory Boost, Pagumons. Like, it is completely different. It's a game changer for the deck. And it's made me change the deck entirely. So gone are the Kaiser Nails, gone are the Vmons. It is a completely different deck. It is much more consistent, and I think much more terrifying. I am having way more fun with it than I ever have. So Chaosdramon is the way to go for me this week. So we're going to wrap this up after that, because we are running late tonight because we had a long night. We had we did not record the finals match tonight, so grats to the winner. But we had the tail end of the remodel. I know we were supposed to be done with the remodel tonight.
I think the electricians ran into a little bit of issues,
Yeah.
So
they were just running late. They had a lot to do today. It was pretty much like building Rome in a day, from what they said.
Yeah.
So we should have everything done and back to normal operations, recording the finals match by next week. But in the meantime, between now and then, what are you building for our viewers that we're going to record?
So my number one priority, as told to me, is D Brigade.
Yes, sir.
D Brigade, absolutely. This is such a powerful deck, and I remember my poor wife, when we were playing with the Japanese cards, when I would get them like imported to me, and I would build, because I stopped playing with the Japanese cards at the end of set 4, right? Because that's when the game got announced was coming to English. No point in me buying any sets past, right?
Great legend.
So I played Commandermon when it came out with Japanese cards, right? And I had such a blast building every version, going through, I think, what I would call, it's a little bit different now, because back then when D Brigade first came out, I would call it like a learning curve, where you would realize that you never digivolved up into that old Tankdramon.
Yeah.
And you would, you kind of just rookie rushed them with tons of great supporting cards, right? And so now it's like I have to change mindsets again, because there is actually a really good stack that you can build in this deck. But now we have so many Commandermons, where if you played, 20 Commandermons, not including any Chicory's Chews, which I'm not saying I'm going to play 20 Commandermons, right? I would have to try to fit in a way to digivolve into that stack. So I got to do a lot of experimenting with D Brigade. I'm very excited to tap back into that. I love those little blue camo dinosaurs with machine guns or assault rifles, whatever. And so it's just like, they're very cool. I'm very excited to build that deck and mess with that. So I'm very excited about D Brigade. What about you?
That's a tough one, because you're the deck builder. You build a lot of decks.
We have a
team. It takes an army to get all this done.
Man of my army.
Yeah, no, there's a couple decks that I'm very interested in building. I do want to build the Dragon Lynx deck. I do think that's a fun deck. I don't think it's going to be better than our guy that won tonight, though. I mean,
just copy his list.
I might just copy his list and debut it on the channel.
Yeah, because he won't, come film for us.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But no, there's some stuff. I mean, my focus right now is definitely getting the content out to the viewers.
Yeah, you're the one who has to edit all this.
We have at least 4 or 5 deck profiles in the can right now that I'm going to try and get them out at least one a day. I mean, not at least, at most one a day. Yep. Sometimes one every couple days, because it does take a little bit of work.
Yeah.
But we do also have like the podcast. We have openings next week. I think it's next week or the week after that. We have One Piece coming out.
Oh, you're right. Are you going to be filming and recording all that stuff or whatever?
We're going to do maybe a One Piece box opening.
Really? Okay.
Possibly. But we also have, there's a bunch of stuff. So other than that, I think that we are done for the year as far as releases go.
Got it.
That is a relief. We can focus on content for you guys. We can focus on great decks. And we can revisit some older decks. And actually, I mean, your zoo deck that we played today is terrifying.
It actually worked way better than I thought it was for a meta where you can't give 10 to your opponent every turn.
So we have some fun decks. So we're gonna bust out some of the meta decks because we know you guys want to see them and what our takes are on them.
Absolutely.
And then we're also gonna go back and show you some fun ones. So I mean, I could build some turbo decks and go back to my old school stuff and have some fun.
Turbo's too good.
It's too good. So we'll try and debut some stuff that'll catch people off guard for sure. So that's it for me.
That's it, man.